I apologize if you couldn't hear me. Microphone wasn't set. Once again, this is Gizmo at E3, live at the 2018 Sony E3 event. And we are starting. Forgive me here as I had to get something to drink. Sony stream was having some issues. Try to make this as smooth as possible. So let me know in the comments what you're expecting from Sony this year. Might be interesting to see a lot of new games from Sony. Maybe a new Twisted Metal. Flight Filter I know is kind of out of reach, but that would be kind of cool. Even another Ratchet and Clank game would probably blow the lid off. We'll just have to wait and see. Potentially like 3,000 or maybe a Vita 2. So that might be kind of interesting all in itself. Anyway, it looks like we're taking off.
Please welcome Sean Layden.
Hey guys. Good evening everyone and welcome. And thank you for making the time tonight to come to church.
Not the usual type of stage.
This fulfills your obligation for the coming Sunday, for those of you who need to know that. But thank you for coming out. It's great to see the congregation as large as it is tonight under this single tent. And for those of you who may be a bit apprehensive because you remember that movie Kingsman, it doesn't end that way. It doesn't end that way. So, but no, again, thank you. And as you can see from this evening, here again at PlayStation, we've decided to mix it up a little bit in the way that we're doing our E3 presentation this year. You know, we look at what the stories have we tell and the things that we want to impart to our fans here with us and their fans on the live feed worldwide. And that changes our design ideas around what we can do for this show. So tonight, we're going to have, rather than a bombardment of new creative, we're going to take all of you on a journey deeper into some of the key titles we've talked about before, but we're going to talk about them in a different way tonight, a deeper way, so you can learn about what's going on with these games and what's coming up in the future. You know, what we look at here at Worldwide Studios with inside Sony Interactive Entertainment, we really want to take our love for gaming and make it sing very loudly. It's a gaming industry, it's sometimes called, but certainly inside our studios, we see gaming as a vocation.
I apologize.
It's a calling. It's what we do. It's what we have to do.
Streams having issues, to be exact. I'm going to try to correct it.
Our teams of creatives and studios and designers, they have stories to tell and things they want to show you and places they'd like to take you. That's what we're trying to do here at PlayStation. This coming year is going to be all about those kind of games that we can deliver to you in a way that's going to blow your minds. And tonight, we're beginning here in this tent, this church tent we've created here in Los Angeles to let you start.
I don't know if this... Yeah, it looks like their stream's having issues. Not a fan of this talk show, though. I will say that. That's not a good way to start your conference.
That journey with us, and let us tell you our stories for the next hour or so. So, without further ado, it is my great honor and my unique privilege to invite to the stage, introduce to you, Gustavo Santaolalla.
Bear with me here while I'd like to see some games myself, but I don't know, maybe this is all that Sony has planned is to play music. That was interesting. That was interesting to say the least. If you're just joining in, this is Gizmo 88 E3 live with the 2018 Sony E3 experience. And so far, it is Dollsville. Alright, it looks like we're getting ready to see something.
Went out one night to make a little round. I met little Sadie and I shot her down. Went back home, jumped into bed. 44 pistol under my head. I woke up in the morning about 9:30. Hacks in the buggy standing in the line. Jensen game standing around. Taking little Sadie to bed. I began to think the idea down. I grabbed my head out of my
I hate these things.
Tell me about it.
Your old man really laid into me today.
Granted, at least Microsoft, when they started,
happened?
at least they showed gameplay.
Another big
Right off
lecture
the
about
bat.
my patrols. Don't go here, don't go there. It's funny how involved he gets whenever you're scheduled to go out.
Yeah.
She's putting on quite the show.
I give you guys 2 weeks until we're back together.
Not gonna
Apologize for the feedback, if there's any feedback coming through on the mic.
She, say something, dude?
Make it 1 week. Ellie! Hey! What took you so long? Oh, I'm here, aren't I?
Tina?
Jesse.
Hey, don't forget we leave at first light, so get some rest.
Yes, sir. Such a dick. Come on. Why don't you start with me? Okay, I have a very serious question for you. How bad do I smell? Like a hot pile of garbage? Oh. Okay. Oh. How about that? Gross. You love it. Every guy in this room is staring at you right now. Maybe they're staring at you. Or not. Maybe they're jealous of you. I'm just a girl, not a threat. Oh, Ellie. I think they should be terrified.
Okay, hopefully that clears up the feedback, because I'm sure there was plenty of it. So once again, this is Gizmo88 at E3 live at the 2018 Sony event. Talk about torture. In a second, I'll check the video volume. reasonable graphics. Graphics actually look really good. I don't know if this is PS4 Pro enhanced or if it's just standard PS4 graphics. I would assume that it's Pro enhanced. Sometimes it's kind of hard to tell unless they tell you or show you the difference. Well, that was interesting. Wonder what the name of the game is. That's what I thought it was, The Last of Us 2. Or Part 2. Okay, so maybe that was the pre-show? Not really for sure.
That was a new look at The Last of Us Part 2. We're here live in Los Angeles at the PlayStation E3 Showcase. We're taking a quick intermission While folks move along to the next part of the experience, we'll have a little bit more to share on that later. And I am joined by my good friend, Ryan Clements.
Hello, Mr. Schumann.
How are you?
I'm good. It's such a pleasure to be here at the PlayStation Showcase. And it's going to be a huge night for Worldwide Studios a little later when the showcase resumes.
Wait a minute, why would we be doing an intermission when we've only seen one game?
The chairman of Worldwide Studios, Mr. Sean Layden. Hello, sir.
Yeah, good to be here.
I thought you were just on stage. How did you get up here so fast?
We created this pneumatic tube that I was dropped into and shot right across to the studio here.
Right over here. Well, it's good to have you here.
Well, it's great to be here. And I think it was a very powerful start for our E3 program for this year.
That's right, and there's much more to come. But
I think it was a dull start. I sure hope you got more than this to show, because that's pretty disappointing if you only have one game.
No introduction.
Indeed.
And I'm curious, from your perspective, where is their head at when it comes to developing this game?
Where's their head at? I mean, they are everywhere. They're looking at what can do in the next iteration of the Last of Us series. And I think what we saw tonight, I mean, that piece of content was so impactful. I mean, the whole relationship between Ellie and Dina going into the combat sequence really shows that they're pulling out all the stops over at Naughty Dog, and they're going to have a very broad and ranging game that's not going to make you only work at it as a player, but you're going to have to just think as a person what you're coming up against.
And I can't wait to see more of that. And that was first gameplay we saw there of The Last of Us Part 2, looking obviously incredible. And speaking
so I gotta ask, was that supposed to be an insult to gamers? That we gotta think? Because don't we do that in every game?
I mean, what is the secret, and what are you doing over there at Worldwide Studios? What's going on there?
The rule number one is do no harm, right? Right. In a lot of ways, my job is just to move the boulders out of the road to make sure that creative talent can get where they need to go. You know, provide backup, provide scope, you know, provide generalized, you know, advice about where we can take this as an industry and as a gaming culture. But honestly, we've got 13 studios worldwide. We try to give them as much creative control as possible and just help support them through to their vision. That's kind of what we've been trying to do here for the last dozen years or so with Worldwide Studios. And I think right now, certainly in the PS4 era, you're seeing a lot of that coming into play right now.
That's great to hear that. And
I don't think he knows if he's at Worldwide Studios or if he's at Sony Interactive.
I've been getting a whole lot, and it has to do with God of War. You know, it's a celebrated game.
He couldn't decide that during the intro, and he seems like he can't decide it now.
I get a lot of tweets about New Game Plus. You know, is this something that you and Santa Monica Studio are evaluating for God of War?
You know, it's crazy. With the advent of social media, we get a lot of real-time feedback from the fans and the community, and we listen to that. And God knows my Twitter feed is filled up with a lot of stuff that we could talk about here or not talk about at all. But it's all important. We take it all seriously. And New Game Plus is something that came through really strong and really hard through that kind of feedback loop. And I'm happy to say today that the teams are working on it, and we should have some more updates on that. We'll put that through the blog, but it's going to happen.
All right.
Okay, so New Game Plus.
That makes me very happy. I will somehow.
Would be interesting to see a little more information about it.
He wasn't watching.
Okay, thank God.
I want to confirm that.
Kids don't try this at home.
Asleep. But yeah, thank you so much, Sean. And it's great to hear that you and the amazing team at Santa Monica Studio are making that happen.
Hey, if we can create functionality and features that allow people to spend more time in the worlds we build, that's by definition a good thing.
Excellent. Fantastic. So New Game Plus, that is confirmed. That is coming to God of War. We'll have full details on PlayStation Blog shortly. We have a lot more to talk about, too.
Yeah, and actually, Sean, I wanted to ask you about that. About a month ago, you did something a little bit out of the ordinary for our team, and you kind of came out and talked about the 4 main games that we would be highlighting tonight's PlayStation Showcase. I was wondering what the thought process was there.
Well, you know, every year we try to let the stories we have to tell design the experience we're going to create. And this year we felt that what we really want to do is take people on a journey deep into the content, deep into the 4 big pillar games that we're working on right now. And get them to see a bit more about the stories you're trying to tell and the way it's going to be expressed and what they get out of it. It's
so we know there's 4 exclusives
of titles there, anything from The Last of Us 2, which we just saw right now, through Death Stranding and Spider-Man and Ghost. So this year I wanted people to know that don't come here.
Yeah, he just mentioned Spider-Man.
Have some big flashy new idea come out or some big surprise come out. Come here and sit with us and walk with us as we get through to see the background stories and deep inside of the games we're working on.
Wonderful. And we do have a lot more coming from those Worldwide Studios games in the showcase later tonight. Do you have any personal games that you're most excited about?
Well, they're all fabulous, and I think the teams are really crushing it right across the board.
Fair enough.
But one thing I would say is there's one of the games that we're having out today that will be playable in 3 months and available in stores, and that's our favorite web slinger.
Of course.
Spider-Man. So we're going to see a lot of that tonight.
So Spider-Man comes out in 3 months.
Be happy with what they're going to get.
Awesome. Thank you, Sean.
Sean, thank you so much for dropping by. Always a pleasure to trade notes with the chairman of Worldwide Studios.
It's great to see you guys. I'll head back to the pneumatic tube station then.
All right, please do.
All right.
And
wear the helmet.
We do have a lot more in store coming up in just a few minutes as the E3 showcase continues. But in the meantime, we also have some other updates for you while we wait during this short intermission. So I say we kick it off with a look at the latest from the world of Call of Duty.
I gotta say, this is the strangest presentation I've ever seen. I'm not sure what Sony was thinking when they came up with this, but no, this is not a good start. They only show one game and then go into intermission, and then show an advertisement.
Only when you pre-order Call of Duty Black Ops 4 from PlayStation Store.
Welcome back. We are having the PlayStation E3 showcase kicking off in just a few more minutes. We're in a short intermission period here, but we've got some good stuff to talk about. We've got some good friends as well.
Yeah.
Meredith Molinari and Ramon Russell. Welcome.
What's happening?
That's
good
right.
to have you guys back.
It's good to be back.
Friendly faces right before the showcase.
Absolutely.
Yeah, excellent.
So I say we keep this moving here, and when it comes to Call of Duty, we know that a bunch of remastered maps from Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 are making their way to Call of Duty Black Ops 4 this October on launch day. But what we just learned here is that those maps, those classic maps, are coming to Black Ops 3 as well for those who pre-order Black Ops 4 on PlayStation Store.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. But what if I don't own Call of Duty Black Ops 3?
Well, that's where it gets a little more interesting, my friend.
Oh.
So tonight, we are actually doing a surprise PlayStation Plus game drop, and that is going to be Black Ops 3. Black Ops 3 is coming to PlayStation Plus later tonight.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes, very nice. This is why I love E3, because not only do we get to share awesome news with our audience, but PlayStation Plus subscribers get a little treat.
Get a little extra
little tasty treat.
Right, little mid E3 supply drop for you there.
That was perfect.
You know, we've been sharing a lot of good news. We got to share 5 really cool announcements last week when we did our countdown, kind of ramping up for tonight's big showcase.
That's right. We had the countdown to E3, and that was 5 game reveals and updates over a span of 5 days. A lot of great stuff announced. Let's take a quick look back at the highlights.
As I had mentioned before, these were the games that they had announced the 5 days prior.
Okay, wake up.
And I mentioned that Tetris was one of them.
From the creators of Fee and Flipping Death.
Look like you've seen a ghost.
Comes a heartfelt story in VR.
But really, who are you?
That game kind of looked interesting. Beat Saber is pretty much just like a lot of other games that we've seen.
Welcome back. We're just a few minutes away from the E3 PlayStation Showcase. I mean, when I say a few minutes, I mean we're really...
Yeah, that's what you said 5 minutes
There's
ago.
a lot of great stuff here. Oh, and we can see the crowd is seated. The people are about ready to go. This show's about to continue, about to move into the big event.
Yeah, it was great to see the countdown stuff, but I do think that there's like maybe one more thing we can sneak in there before we cut our way to the showcase.
Yeah, let's squeeze it in. Let's squeeze it in. Okay, so this next franchise boasts a huge, loyal community of nearly 6 billion hours. Incredible stat.
Yeah, they play that so much.
A lot.
They do. And we're going to take a first look at the next chapter right now.
Looks like Destiny.
That was a powerful new look at Destiny 2. Forsaken is coming out September 4th on PS4. A lot of great enhancements and content for that one. And
yeah, it looks really good. There's a lot of buzz about that Gambit mode coming up. And guess what? If you're at E3, you can play it at our booth.
Not too bad.
But
Not too bad.
There's barely any time because we're about to get to the showcase.
That's right. We are really seconds away when it comes down to it from the rest of PlayStation's E3 showcase. Thank you so much for watching. We've got a lot more in store tonight. But for now,
I think it's almost time.
I think it's almost time. Should we get to it?
I think why keep people waiting? Let's get to it. We have so much more to cover.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So let's check it out live right now.
And more music. Granted, I like the scenery. It does flow pretty well. Okay, now it's annoying. Let's get on with the next game. At least this room looks a little different. This looks more like an E3 conference stage, unlike the last one. You know that's PlayStation Pro graphics there.
Temple's close.
That's a lot of flowers. Kind of interesting that one either red bush or tree or whatever that is stands out in the background.
Where are they? Bastards! Enough! What's next, summer?
Apologize for the background noise. I like how the movements are so precise.
Jin, you're late.
You're impatient. Where's the monk?
The bastards beat you to him. Now they're torturing him at the temple.
Come on. We need him, Masako. Down.
We can take them.
No. Remember Sago Bridge? We strike quietly. And they kill the monk.
I'll guard the exits. Just get that monk.
Sushimak. I had a stuffed aflopan. Please, I do not understand. Uldathwi, Chamakotun Hami, Uthwi Cheyavan Sakt, Chi Obelatno.
Called reinforcements. We have to move. Masako!
Stand aside, Jin. You betrayed my family.
Run! If we fight, Mongols win.
They already won. Give me luck.
He mentioned Ghost, so I guess that's it. Looks kind of interesting. For a minute there, I thought we were going to have more music.
The oldest house is a shifting place. There are rules and rituals. You can keep traveling deeper.
It's a very bizarre looking gun. Okay. No real gameplay though, and no name. So I presume that we just seen an Untitled game. Or is this the gameplay? Now that's an original PlayStation with a beer bottle. And a CRT television. I wonder if this is going to be Spiral. You know, they announced Spiral, but haven't seen any video footage. I know it's supposed to be the first 3 games, but other than that, there's been no footage shown. Man, what a mess.
Stay back, sir! I've got this! Officer, you need help? What are you doing? Get off! No! Get off of me!
Okay, definitely not Spiral. I thought maybe it was when I seen the original PlayStation there. Kind of made sense.
Jesus Christ.
Money's in my account. Always a pleasure.
Attention, all citizens. Due to the citywide outbreak.
And don't make my mistake. If you see one of those things, uniform or not, you do not hesitate.
Whatever it takes to save this city.
Surprised you made it this far.
Need info on my extraction. Survival's your responsibility.
God damn it.
Will you help me?
Of course. It's an impressive display of strength. But we never meant for this to happen.
It's coming. It's coming back.
Okay, so they're showing off Resident Evil 2. However, that was not part of the Big Four, so...
From Squanch Games and the co-creator of Rick and Morty.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Bathtub Guy, and we're here at E3 to take some looks at this new game I'm going to show you right now. Trover Saves the Universe. Let's give it a look. Oh, whoa, there's some action platform stuff in this little piece of shit. I'm the Bathtub Guy. I'm always in my bathtub, but, you know, that's not about me right now. It's about this game. Whoa, look at that. That's exciting footage I just saw.
This kind of looks cool.
I'm playing it right now. Look at me. I'm a cool cucumber over here playing this cool game.
Well, that did him in.
Jesus Christ! Oh my God! Somebody call 711 because that's the emergency dial number for this in this weird part of the galaxy. Because this is a sci-fi based thing. Help! He's got electrocuted.
Well, I'm glad to see some support for the VR.
Yo ho, a pirate's life for me.
Kingdom Hearts.
Cause we get to be pirates again.
Yep, you always did like this world.
Still, it's a real shame we don't have a bigger ship. You back in the organization?
Yes. Surprising, isn't it?
Jack, don't you give this creep the time of day.
Sora, stand down. It's the code. Mustn't strike a pirate aboard ship when said pirate offers to confabulate.
I am looking for a box.
Get them!
Sora!
They have come for us.
Wait!
Oh no!
Stop!
Farewell. Arendelle is safer with me staying up here.
Oh, please, go away.
And the unversed collected enough screams and sadness from those children.
Yeah, and the whole time they were trashing our company in the process!
You're following her.
It's amazing they're just not getting to this game, considering it was first announced back before the PlayStation 4 came out.
And at the end, you'll finally realize what destiny has in store for you.
Yet they focused more on Final Fantasy instead of the games that they had already announced.
Hey, Axel.
Hey, liking the look. Cut your hair, too.
Granted, I like a good Final Fantasy game, but let's face it, there hasn't been one in years. Kingdom Hearts 3. Could have done without that.
Seven border bridges. The man who delivers. Tears. Chirology. So, you have dooms, like me. What's your level?
I've got the extinction factor, but I think you got me beat.
You can see them, right?
No, but I can sense them.
Wanna come work for me? Must be tough out here on your own.
I can't help you with that. I make deliveries. That's all.
It's kind of interesting. So there's these invisible creatures, and you're supposed to find a way to kill them.
Headed into town. Watch yourself. Those things never stay gone for long. The time flow fast forwards whatever it touches, but it can't wash everything away. The past just won't let go. I'll see you around.